Alright, let's start with something that might keep you up at night. Did you know that in a single year, thousands of people across North America faced legal challenges, job losses, public shaming, not for committing a crime, but for something they said? Words, a tweet, a protest sign, a joke told in the wrong company. We assume our right to speak is set in stone, but that fortress has gates, guards, and very specific rules of entry. The line between protected and punishable speech is finer than you think, and it's drawn differently on Canadian versus American soil. These rules shape our news, our art, our politics, our ability to call out injustice. This isn't about which country is better. It's about knowing the rule book. We'll break down the jargon, look at real-life situations, and get to the heart of freedom of expression in Canada versus the United States. Let's get into it. Before we dive into the legal nitty-gritty, let's get on the same page. What are we even talking about when we say free speech? It sounds simple, right? It means you can say whatever you want. But it's so much more than that. At its core, freedom of expression is the right to form and share ideas, opinions, and information without fear of government censorship or punishment. It's the article you write, the painting you create, the protest sign you wave, even the meme you share. This freedom is the lifeblood of a healthy democracy, how we make informed decisions and hold power to account. Free speech lets good ideas be tested, bad ideas be challenged, and hopefully, truth emerge. Crucially, it protects you from the government, the police, politicians, lawmakers. It doesn't shield you from all consequences. Your boss, platforms, or friends may still respond. No society grants unlimited expression. Lines exist: incitement to violence, defamation, child sexual exploitation. The real fight is where to draw them. So, let's head north and look at Canada. How does the Great White North handle free speech? The magic words are in the Canadian Charter, specifically Section 2B. You can think what you want, say what you want, and the media can report it. Almost any activity conveying meaning counts, from speeches to silent protests, even dance. Courts say this freedom helps us seek truth, participate in democracy, and find self-fulfillment. But there's a massive but. Section 1. Rights can be limited by laws that are demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. Translation: the government can limit speech, but only with a really compelling, lawful, democratic reason. Courts use the Oakes test. Is the goal important? Does the law work? Is it narrowly drawn? And do its benefits outweigh the harm to free expression? This lets rights be weighed against values like equality, dignity, and public safety. Think of it as a guardrail, keeping speech free but not at any cost. Now let's travel south to the United States. Here, the conversation starts and ends with the First Amendment. It's direct, almost absolute. No built-in good reason clause. Result: a tradition that treats speech as nearly untouchable. The default is protection, even if speech is offensive, hateful, or deeply unpopular. Philosophy: don't censor bad speech. Counter it with more speech. Exceptions are few and narrow. The bar to limit speech is extraordinarily high. Courts ask, does it fit an unprotected category? If not, it's generally protected. It's an iron shield. Despite different wording, both countries walk slightly different paths toward the same destination. Both see free expression as a non-negotiable pillar of democracy, especially the right to criticize government and debate controversial ideas. Political speech gets the highest protection in both systems. Courts are wary of restricting core political debate. Freedom of the press is robustly protected because a government that controls news can't be controlled by the people. Both address tangible harms like threats and defamation. The debate is how to justify limits, not whether they exist. Different mechanics, similar goals. Open debate while preventing direct harm. The biggest divide: Canada's balancing versus America's categorical approach. In Canada, free expression is one key value among others: equality, dignity, security. Courts can weigh and justify limits to promote societal goals. Example: Canada criminalizes willful promotion of hatred against identifiable groups, Upheld because harm to dignity, security, and equality can justify reasonable limits. In the US, there's no general hate speech exception. Offensive, racist, vile speech is usually protected unless it crosses into imminent incitement. Fear. Power used to silence neo-Nazis today could silence civil rights activists tomorrow. US. Public figures must prove actual malice, protecting aggressive reporting. Canada protects debate too, but without the same malice rule, reputation gets somewhat more weight. Net. Canada calibrates by balancing. The US guards categories with a near-absolute shield. Canada's Oaks test, a 4-step checklist since 1986. Pressing goal, law works, least speech restriction, and benefits outweigh harm. In the US, content-based restrictions trigger strict scrutiny, compelling interest, narrowly tailored, almost always fatal. Content-neutral rules, time, place, manner, get more lenient review if they're reasonable. Think fortress wall with a few pre-approved passages. If speech isn't in an exception, the wall holds. Balancing test versus categorical shield, 2 judicial toolkits. A controversial speaker is invited to a university. Students plan to shout down and block the event. In the US, a public university must protect the speaker's First Amendment rights and prevent a heckler's veto, while also protecting protest. In Canada, schools balance expression and protest with safety and equality. If risks escalate, intervention is a reasonable limit. You post something harsh and questionable about a local politician. In the US, public figures must prove actual malice. Very hard to win. In Canada, there's protection for responsible communication, but you may need to show verification efforts. A sign is deeply offensive to a religious group but doesn't call for violence. US. Almost certainly protected. Canada, closer call. Did it willfully promote hatred against an identifiable group? A reporter with leaked documents is asked to reveal a source. US. Some state shield laws. No absolute federal shield. Judge weighs interests. Canada. Formal balancing framework for journalistic privilege. Art, satire, comedy push boundaries, challenge norms, and often offend. That's the point. Courts in both countries strongly protect satire and comedy as social commentary. A Canadian comedian faced a human rights case over alleged discriminatory jokes. The Supreme Court sided with the comedian, but the process shows Canada's balancing channels. In the US, such a case likely ends earlier on First Amendment grounds, absent true harassment or threats. With the press, both fight to protect sources. The US and Canada differ in mechanisms, but both weigh free press against law enforcement needs. These rules build the society we live in and define our public conversations. The American Iron Shield fosters a robust, sometimes brutal marketplace of ideas. The Canadian Guardrail aims for civility, dignity, and equality, trimming some edges. Know the rules of the road so your message is powerful and protected. Students, check campus codes. Activists, learn assembly rules. News consumers, understand cross-border differences. This is a living conversation, and your voice is part of it. Participate thoughtfully and respectfully. If this breakdown helped, hit like and drop a comment. Do you prefer the balancing act or the iron shield? Let's get a real conversation going. Subscribe and hit the bell for more deep dives. Stay informed, stay engaged, and speak your truth. Carefully. Free speech is powerful. Canada balances it. The US shields it. Know your rights. Use your voice wisely.